There was a time when the thought of visiting villages and other rural areas satisfied personal crave for serenity, adventure, and escape from noise of ever-bustling modern cities. Typical of humanity, the seeming ease modernization provides for everyday survival soon creates a vacuum that needs to be filled. While many return to base, others create enabling environments in those rural settlements, bringing about development that draws migration of people of different backgrounds. Many for good, others with ill intentions that compromise one of the greatest needs of man, security. Across Nigeria, this is a single challenge for government at all levels. The how and why of declining security in rural Nigeria is our focus on this edition. My name is Omotola Omojola. This is Dateline 360. Stay with us. It seems the forests in many parts of Nigeria have become a sanctuary for terrorists, bandits, kidnappers, and other criminal elements, generating headlines that are not just sad but thought-provoking. Beyond the devastation and the body counts, we ask a fundamental question: how did yesterday's safe havens turn into war zones? Defense correspondent Olajide Bello re-examines security in rural communities, investigating the enabling factors from porous borders to decaying local intelligence networks.
Across Nigeria, rural communities once known for peace and agriculture are increasingly under siege. From the northeast to the northwest, the Middle Belt and parts of the south, bandits and terrorist groups are targeting villages, exploiting vulnerabilities and leaving destructions behind. In the northwest, bandit attacks in states like Zamfara and Katsina has led to mass abductions and village raids. In the northeast, insurgent remnants continue to strike isolated communities. The north-central region has seen repeated violence in farming settlements, with the recent Angwan-Rukuba community in Jos Plateau State, while parts of southern Nigeria are grappling with rising kidnapping. Rural communities once considered safe are now on the front line. Security experts attribute this to limited security presence in rural communities, slow response times, and vast, difficult terrains. Dense forests and ungoverned spaces serving as hibernating ground for armed groups, making these communities easy targets. Poor road networks further complicate access for security forces, delaying intervention. Weak intelligence structures at the grassroots level also create gaps. The proliferation of small arms and light weapons continues to fuel the scale and frequency of attacks. Although efforts are ongoing to recover these arms, many remain in circulation, posing a persistent threat.
The proliferation of small arms and light weapons has been a nuisance in our national and regional peace and security in the last 2 decades or more. This has caused great distress to the social economic well-being and overall development in Nigeria. It has therefore remained central to the security challenges facing Nigeria today.
The proliferation of small arms and light weapons has become akin to a last resort measure by individuals and the collective to seek protection for themselves, but at the same time to advance their ulterior motives.
The impact extends beyond immediate violence. Farming activities are disrupted, food production declines, and local economies collapse. Education is also affected, with schools shut down over safety concerns. Before these attacks, many rural areas relied on local vigilantes and community-based security. Today, despite increased military presence and operations in some regions, gaps remain in coordination, coverage, and sustained protection. Experts emphasize the need for stronger collaboration between communities and formal security agencies. Effective intelligence sharing and trust building at the grassroots level are critical to preventing further attacks.
Asymmetric warfare is a warfare of intelligence. If you don't have intelligence, you are going to be blind. It's not like the conventional one that you are seeing everybody. This one, the enemy is not identified. That person that you think is your friend that is close to you might just be the person that is also planning for you. So that's why I think it's important. And then we look at means and ways that we can enhance these aspects, especially building up our human intelligence and making sure that Nigerians understand that they too have a role to play in passing this information as quickly, as efficient as possible, so that actions could be taken as quickly as possible.
Now, the take-home by security experts is for a whole-of-societal approach in the fight against insurgency, with trust playing a key role in information sharing and intelligence gathering. From Abuja, Olajide Bello reporting for Dateline 360.
From the north to the south, east and western Nigeria, there are acts by violent non-state actors undermining peace in rural Nigeria. Let's now take a look at a few specifics as to attempt a comprehensive exposition of the entire problem across rural Nigeria will be far beyond the time frame we have here. Plateau State is among areas that have recorded violence and insecurity due to activities of bandits and terrorists. While the narratives are woven around conflicts between farmers and herders, ethno-religious tensions and economic motivation, it also tells tales of destruction causing trauma to citizens. Ijoma Ozemena tells the Plateau story through the Angwa Rukuba experience.
Insecurity in rural communities has become a growing concern. It manifests itself in armed banditry, communal and ethnic clashes, among others. Rural areas most often lack adequate security protection, making it easier for criminal groups to operate with little assistance. Angwarukuba is located along local networks that connect different parts of Jos North to surrounding communities. The recent attack on the community involved gunmen on bikes shooting sporadically at a crowded spot, killing scores of people and leaving several injured. This recent attack on Angwarukuba has raised concerns about security lapses and the underlying causes of rural community attacks. Before the incident, security in Angwarukuba was inadequate, with reports of intelligence failure and delayed response time. The desolation that gripped the area was both visible and obscure. The once vibrant community is now marked by silence, destruction and fear, stained walls and empty environments. The usual sound of daily activity of children, traders and other members of the community has been replaced by an unsettling silence. Following the attack, government proactively imposed 48 hours curfew, deployed additional security personnel, and pledged to strengthen security architecture.
Your DIG operations, and he came and assisted us in no small way to stabilize the system. But I must also commend the Commissioner of Police, who has been very, very professional and exemplary throughout this period.
At the present, the state is awaiting deployment of over 500 AI-enabled surveillance cameras in Jos to enhance security. However, experts say proliferation of small arms and light weapons contribute to insecurity in rural communities.
We have an intelligence fusion center that we built of being able to locate these criminals on time and deal with them. That's the aim. But the type of equipment we put there is such that at the end of all of this, by God's grace, everybody could still use it.
Security is a collective responsibility. It's a responsibility of every citizen. You know, when you see something that says you say something. The security operatives, they are not magicians. It is based on the warning, the early warning, responses that we give to them on some of the intels that would lead to them that they will not apply their expertise to go about these miscreants and these criminal elements.
School efforts in the community shows that peace building is not only the responsibility of government, but grassroots actions like dialogue, vigilante activity, and rebuilding play a powerful role in restoring stability and trust among community members. Dateline 360, Ijoma Ozemena.
In other states with recent experience is Kebbi, where renewed attacks on rural communities have made fear a neighbor to live in and heightened security concerns. Let's hear more from Usman Abdullahi Shehu in Birnin Kebbi.
Kebbi State has recorded a series of deadly attacks on rural communities, particularly in parts of Arewa, Ngaski, Shanga and Bagudo local government areas, where several resident and security personnel have lost their lives. In some of worst-hit communities, armed men are reportedly to have stormed villages at night, killing residents and razing homes, forcing many to flee to safer locations. Incidents in parts of Shanga and Bagudo have left a trail of destruction, ranking among the most severe in recent memory. These attacks have been linked to several factors, including difficult terrain, porous borders, and limited security presence in remote areas, which provide easy access and escape routes for armed groups.
Security is everybody's business. We can see it is not left for the security agencies alone. The community have to contribute their own quota towards achieving our security.
We have to collaborate with them, because them alone cannot do it. We are the ones that are there 24 hours a day within our communities. We see what is happening. So for them to come in, sometimes honestly there is need for us to ensure that that trust is built.
Eyewitnesses' accounts indicate the attackers often strike at night in coordinated groups, moving on motorcycles and firing sporadically to create panic before targeting homes and, in some cases, security posts. They retreated quickly, taking advantage of poor roads networks and challenges in rapid security response. However, the scale of recent attack has prompted increased deployment of security personnel, improved logistics, establishment of checkpoints, and closer collaboration with community leaders. Authorities say efforts are ongoing to identify and apprehend the perpetrators and their informants through improved surveillance and intelligence gathering.
Together between police and the important stakeholders, traditional rulers, law-abiding citizens, is that we together have a meeting, solve a problem together, also map out the area of priority whereby our operation will be conducted. Last point, trouble areas where we have criminals hide out, we can get those information.
To go all around the area, wherever that the bandits or Lapura are, we have been supervising and surveillance there. Wherever we found them, we are interrogating them to find and pushing them out.
The aftermath is often devastating, with homes destroyed, farmlands abandoned, and livelihoods disrupted, leaving families displaced and communities in mourning. The persistence of these attacks continues to raise serious concern about the safety of rural communities in Kebbi State, with residents calling for more proactive and sustained security measures. In response, residents have intensified local security through vigilant groups and night patrols. However, many believe that lasting peace will only depend on stronger security presence and sustained collaboration between the community and the authorities. Usman Abdullahi Shehu reporting for DATELINE 360.
From Kebbi, we move to Katsina, where residents blend age-old customs with modern support to enhance local security. Awal Halero reports that for generations, peace and security in such communities were maintained through collective vigilance led by traditional and religious leaders. With renewed government commitment to addressing current security challenges, this approach is being revived.
I am in Inwala Jangefe in Batagarawa local government area. This community is reviving the spirit of old tradition of neighbors watching out for each other. With the support of government and new settlers joining local vigilantes, rural Katsina is rebuilding its security on a foundation of unity and trust. In communities across Batagarawa local government area, village heads, vigilante groups and religious leaders were the main custodians of security in the past. Ward heads, known as Meungwa in most Hausa communities, alongside Islamic scholars, traditionally served as mediators in dispute resolution. Common disputes then included petty theft, marital issues, and inheritance conflicts. These were usually resolved promptly at the village square or through community-imposed sanctions. The old security architecture relied on a system of reciprocal monitoring among neighbors. Residents took turns keeping watch at night, while mosques alerted the community to suspicious movement before dawn prayers. Every adult had the authority to correct erring children, and strangers were easily identified within the community. However, residents say the nature of security threat has changed significantly. Armed bandits on motorcycles, kidnapping for ransom, political thuggery and drug abuse among youth have emerged as major concerns.
The government alone cannot do it without the people, so we are trying to help and keep an eye on things.
Any motorcycle that have a valve should be banned. Let them use a small motorcycle. I'll approve a small motorcycle.
The community must unite like a family to strengthen our bond.
Migration and the influx of new settlers have also altered village dynamics, weakening the bond of trust within communities. Government response now includes the establishment of police outposts, military operations, and the state-backed Katsina Community Watch Corps. Elders note that community engagement was stronger in the past when security was seen as a collective responsibility.
Village head, district head, ward head, let them give them the maximum power, at least, to know and monitor whoever is staying within their domain.
Although some new settlers have joined vigilante groups, the decline in collective responsibility and community spirit has reduced the effectiveness of traditional neighborhood watch and surveillance efforts. The Katsina Community Watch Corps is working side by side with traditional leaders and youth volunteers. Elders say the blend of old values and new tools is strengthening peace. Here in Inwale Jangefe, the message is clear. When clerics, chiefs and communities move as one, security grows stronger. In Katsina, Awan Haliru for Deadline 360.
Let's now head south, where the dynamics is slightly different, but rural solutions still emerge as part of measures to put out the rage of insecurity in small communities. Fortunate Ozo in Abakaliki examines security in rural communities in Ebonyi State, southeast Nigeria.
Various agencies, churches, communities are devising means of establishing private security agencies like Neighborhood Watch and others to ensure proper protection of lives and property. In the olden days, rural communities across the southeastern states of the country enjoyed peace and unity with minimal theft of goats, fowls and tubers of yam, which was tackled through local vigilantes and administration of oaths to suspects in the presence of deities.
In old days, what is happening now doesn't happen by them. Kidnapping, robbery was not happening by that time.
In those days, the village authorities devised ways, strategies, ways of curbing insecurity in local settings. The vigilante mounted roadblocks at night to checkmate the activities of night marauders.
However, as security challenges assume alarming dimensions across rural communities in southeastern Nigeria and Ebonyi State in particular, community-driven efforts are being undertaken to complement the work of conventional security agencies as part of measures to curb insecurity in the country. Traditional rulers, clerics, and youth organizations now have security formations to augment the work of conventional security agencies in the country.
In most cases, we gather the information, we make it available to people that will use it to the best profits of the nation.
Despite the onerous task of securing lives and property in rural communities in the southeast, crimes and criminality have continued unabated, prompting these security outfits to call for urgent government intervention in training and equipping them to enable them function optimally.
More about community policing, I think it will go a long way helping the system, because as we know our rural areas, we know the roots, we know literally people, that the inhabitants of the place. So if it is being gazetted, it will go a lot, engaging more youths.
If government can give an order for each community down to the villages that made up a community to bring out youth that they will go and train in the area of security. If government train them, they give them uniform and give them authority that will make people to respect them.
The government can go take a step further by not just recognizing them, giving them a boost to enable them perform their roles more effectively.
With cases of security breaches in Ebonyi State leading to communal wars and killing of individuals, traditional rulers inclusive, which hitherto were rare in times past, respondents are calling for the resuscitation of those local security means to complement efforts of security agencies while sharing information and handing over suspects to appropriate security agencies will still be prioritized. In Abakaliki, Fortunate Ozo, NTA News.
Nigeria's rural heartlands, once defined by peaceful farmlands and close-knit communities, appear the hotspots for violent attacks, and central to stemming the tide is policing. Francis Form reports on efforts by the Nigeria Police Force to confront them by unearthing the drivers and how they can be contained.
From the perspective of the Nigeria Police Force, the causes of rural violence are complex and deeply interconnected. Security sources point to a mix of economic motives, with criminal gangs targeting vulnerable communities for ransom and looting. A weak security presence emboldens attackers, and in some areas, ethno-religious tensions and political manipulations fuel cycles of reprisals. One factor stands out: access to opportunity. Many rural communities remain vast, isolated, and underpoliced, and this creates gaps that criminals are quick to exploit. On manpower, the reality is stark for the force. Police presence across rural Nigeria is largely inadequate, with officers stretched thin over difficult terrain and large populations. The impact is clear: slow response time, limited visibility, and declining public confidence.
The police in Nigeria were about 300,000. And Nigerians were more than 180 million. In the next couple of years, we will be more than 300 million. How does that small, sizable number of police cover and provide adequate security to the communities? It's not possible.
Get some youth that they will be contributing 10 naira, 5 naira, and be giving them month-end deal to be secure yours and secure the community, because of the bad voice.
Local vigilante groups, hunters, and community watch networks now play a critical role in rural security for ground intelligence, early warnings, and rapid response, often before formal forces arrive. This partnership, however, is not without challenges. Poor coordination, lack of training, and concerns over accountability are among the noted ones. At the heart of this approach is community policing, a strategy designed to build trust and strengthen cooperation, but with mixed results.
By the time you have the state police, they are closer to the communities. And they know the people because most of them, they are recruited within that state.
Let them even advise. How do they want the police to police them? The police will have to comply.
So this is what we look forward to, that synergy.
For it to say, I always say that the police is in your neighborhood. You are your police force. So the more we can be able to achieve this, the better it is for us.
Intelligence gathering remains a key weapon.
We are investing in training, technology, and community engagement. These are not future plans. They are actions in motion today already. We are building a police force that is intelligence-led, technology-driven, and community-focused.
While information sharing has helped prevent some attacks, significant gaps remain. One of the most persistent flashpoints is the farmer herder crisis. At its core, a struggle over land and resources, worsened by climate change and population pressure. To manage these, the Nigeria Police Force is stepping up conflict resolution, mediating dispute, and working with community leaders to prevent escalation. With stronger collaboration, smarter policing, and empowered communities, there is hope that these front lines can once again return to peaceful farmlands. For Dateline 360, Francis Form.
It is a challenge that requires the collective action of everyone, from the provision of legitimate economic security for locals to leadership that builds and sustains safety and trust within rural Nigeria. Confidence is emboldened for someone to see something and say something. Think about it. I am Omotola Mojola. Thanks for being there. God bless Nigeria.